Hi everybody and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I have a weekly wrap up for you. I have 3 books to wrap you up on and then I'm currently reading 1. As many of you know, my goal is to read this bookshelf this month and so far I'm doing kind of okay. I'm not reading this book actually because that one's Patrick's, but I've been doing pretty good because I read Accidental Marriage, or The Marriage Accident, whatever, one of those ones. I read that one, and that was from this shelf, and then all the rest of these books have been from this shelf, so that is pretty impressive. So the first book that I read this week was Faking It by Cora Cormack. This is the second book in the trilogy. The first book is Losing It, which I gave 5 stars, and then this is a sequel / companion novel. I gave this book 3 stars. For some reason, I didn't get into it as much as I got into the first book. I remember reading the first book and just being like sucked in and devouring it. And I didn't feel that with this one, which is sad because it's my favorite color. So I really have been always wanting to read this series just to get this book. This one is, like I said, a companion novel. So it follows a character from the last book. Now, he wasn't like a main character in the last book, but he was like one of the side characters. So he comes in and he is now like moved away from the school. He's going to grad school and trying to basically just get his life together. And then he is in a coffee shop and this girl there who basically is nothing like his type at all, like really like rockerish, like lots of tattoos. She comes over to him and is like, hey, my parents are coming into town like right this minute. Can you please pretend to be my boyfriend right now? Because like her family is kind of from a well-to-do family and they hate her tattoos and things like that. So she kind of hides them from them. Like whenever she sees them, she's usually wearing like a turtleneck and things like that. But their parents kind of shock her unannounced. So she's like, I need to find somebody that will like be like what they think is the perfect boyfriend. So she like, because she already has a boyfriend, but he is definitely not the type of people that her parents would want her to be with. So she finds him and is like, can you please fake it and like pretend to be my boyfriend? And obviously, you know how these stories go. So I thought it was alright. I gave it 3 stars. I just didn't connect with it the same way that I connected with the other book. But I do want to get to the 3rd book to finish this trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy out. And then I picked up The Kingmakers Daughter by Philippa Gregory. This is the 4th book in the Cousins War series. The first book is The White Queen. The second book is The Red Queen. It might actually be reversed. The 3rd book is The Lady of the Rivers, and then this book. And technically, I feel like the books don't technically go fully in order because they kind of run parallel timelines sometimes. This book follows Anna, who is the daughter of the Kingmaker, so he kind of is known as the man who makes kings out of people because he basically made King Edward the king. So he is kind of seen as the Kingmaker, and it's her story, and kind of along with her sister. It's a sister story. We never get the sister's perspective, but she's there nonetheless. And this kind of paralleled timelines with the White Queen. I can't remember the Red Queen vividly, which is funny because of the fact that I read the White Queen first, like when I first started my channel. So it's so funny to think that like 4 years later I still remember the White Queen over the Red Queen, which is interesting because the Red Queen I liked better. But it's definitely followed that kind of timeline, and the White Queen and the Red Queen are in this book. I gave this book 3 stars. I feel like I just always have such a love-hate relationship with her books. I like feel like sometimes I'm sucked in and sometimes I'm not sucked in. The White Queen, I believe I gave 3 stars as well. The Red Queen I gave 4, and then this one went back down to 3. I don't think anything in particular was like wrong with it. I just, every now and then, like, they start to drag by the end because this takes place over like 2 decades, because the book starts when she's 8 years old and she sees Elizabeth Woodville for the first time, and then by the time the book ends, she is like almost 30. She's about 28, 29 years old, so that's a long time to go through, and like the font isn't the biggest, so like unless you're really sucked in, it's kind of not a drag to get through. I think this only took me about 2 days to get through. But I do look forward to continuing on and reading the rest of the series this month So that is that. And then I decided to read for Loving Them Books. I picked up My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Fredrik Backman. This book was originally published in 2013 in Swedish, which I found out, and then it was released in 2015 in English. I gave this book 3 stars, and obviously I'm going to have my review posted the 17th that completely explains everything that I thought about this book. It was kind of a disappointment for me. I could see why people have been raving it 5 stars. Like, I could definitely see why this would pique people's interest, but it was kind of hitting my pet peeves of books, which obviously if it hits your pet peeves, you have a harder time getting through it. So I am giving it 3 stars, but I really almost didn't give it any rating because I feel like it's really one of those books where it's yours or it's not, and I think that it's really good for people to form their own opinions on this book. So I definitely want you to come check out my review of this book so that way you could see what I really liked about this book and what I disliked, and then you can form your own opinion on if you want to read it. But definitely wait for that review. Don't knock it out just because it was a 3-star read for me, because it might not be like that for you. So definitely check this out on that date. And then the book that I am currently reading is The Serpent of the Pearl by Kate Quinn. This is the first book, and I believe it's a duology. Right now there's only 2 books out. The second book is on my shelf waiting for me to read after. I'm not that far into it, even though I've been reading for 2 days. Yesterday I kind of got home from work and I was exhausted, so I didn't read like anything. So I'm only 132 pages in. And so far it's interesting. I didn't really read the back to begin with because of the fact that I was going to read it no matter what because it was by Kate Quinn, because I love her books. Usually her books are set kind of like in ancient Rome, and this is kind of set, I want to say like Renaissance-y. It's 1492. Is that Renaissance time? Maybe, I don't know. But this book follows our main character, Julia, it starts with a G. And then there's 2 other characters that we follow, Leonello and Carmelina. Right now, they're not main characters. Like, you see their perspective, but I haven't seen why they're considered, like, the main character yet, because I think most of the story really is supposed to revolve around Julia. We're in Rome, and a new pope is about to be elected because we know that the pope is dying. She starts the book off getting married, and she's so excited because she has been betrothed to a man who is like only a year older than her and is handsome. She goes to her wedding night and he tells her, I can't do this, I'm not allowed, and like runs away. And she's like, what is happening right now? Why won't my husband like be with me? And the next morning they tell her, hey, like, your husband's already gone. Let's go downstairs. The cardinal's waiting for you. Come to find out, they traded her to be a concubine for the cardinal, which, like, he's, like, 60-something years old. So, like, they paid the husband to, like, marry her to then let the cardinal seduce her, which is pretty nasty, in my opinion. And she goes a while without actually giving in to this cardinal, but I just got to a part which made me squirm with grossness. Yeah. This is actually all explained on the back, that, like, she's the concubine for him and everything. And I'm like, why did I not read the back? Like, it's not even like that makes the book bad, because that's just what the storyline is. So, like, I'm still enjoying it for Kate Quinn's writing. I'm just a little concerned with the direction this book is going right now. So we'll see what I feel about it after I finish, which will probably be next week. So keep an eye out for that one. So that's all I read this week. I shouldn't say it like that because I read 2 books that were pretty, like, intense with, like, details and things that make books go a little bit slower, if you know what I'm saying. So I think I had a really good reading week, especially for a long weekend where I didn't fully read on the 2 days that I had off. Well, 3 days I had off, but I'm like just jabbling now. But yeah, so I think I did a rather good job. We're finally getting into the real swing of work now with kids being back. They're finally like ready to learn. So it should be interesting to see how the next few weeks go. But I will definitely be seeing you guys very soon. Let me know what you thought of any of these books down below, or what, if you're reading something that you want to tell me about, you know what to do. So I will see you guys later. Bye. I'm doing that thing where I'm just gonna like hope that this doesn't cut out part. See ya. Is that not true?